Hi everyone, it's Michelle here from FireFit. Today we're going to be doing some collage and printing. I'll be showing you two techniques that you can use to print, and you can use this in your collages. What we'll need is some water, small glass of water, tissue paper or kitchen roll, toilet roll, anything like that, sellotape, scissors, a paintbrush, excuse me. You'll also need some paper or card, an old magazine, and any paper with letters or pictures on it. I've just printed something out, but you can use newspaper or an old letter, anything like this that has words printed on it. You can use a magazine for this as well, as long as it's not glossy. So it wants to be, you want to use something that's on paper and not glossy card or anything like that. Newspaper works best. You'll need one piece of paper for the first technique, and this is called paint printing. You'll need some white paint. You can use any paint as long as it's quite light. So white works best, cream, light grey, anything that's going to be light enough to show the image. You can look through a magazine and choose a photo that you like. I'm going to use the face of this woman. Get the paint and pour it on to the section that you want to use. Ooh, this is blocked up, so I'll open it. Cover the section of the face or the part that you want to use. I'm going to get some other paint because I think that's a bit old. Just check that. I've got a light purple here, that should work. So you cover the part of the image that you want to use. I'm just going to use the face. And then cut around it. And on the paper, you want to put it face down, and the paint should stick. Flatten it out as much as you can. And I'm going to set this aside and leave it to dry, and I'll teach you a new technique. So we're going to wait for this to dry. Depending on which paint you're using, it'll probably take around 10 to 20 minutes. If you want to, you can use a hairdryer to dry it faster, but I'm just going to set it aside for now and come back to this. You'll want to get a new piece of paper for the next technique, and we'll be using the words So like I said before, I'll be using this printout, but you can use newspaper or an old letter, anything like that, as long as it doesn't have any personal details on it. And we're going to cut out each letter with the scissors. Then we'll need some sellotape. Rip a little bit off, just enough to cover the letter. Like this. So you want the sellotape on the front of the letter. The back looks like this. That's the sticky side. And the front looks like this. The sellotape isn't big enough to cover this letter, so I'm going to use 2 strips. Like this. I'll just do a few more letters. I won't do the whole thing, just so I can show you what it looks like. Hopefully your sellotape doesn't get stuck like mine. Again, if the sellotape doesn't cover the whole letter, you can use 2 strips, like this. Then I'll trim the edges off. Then you'll need to get your glass of water and submerge the sellotape with the letter stuck to it into the water. And then do this over a tissue or newspaper so it doesn't make too much of a mess. We're going to start scratching off the paper from the back. Like this. You don't want to do it hard, do it too hard with your nail, because it might scratch the ink off. But if you just do it with your fingertip, you can peel the paper off, and then you'll be left with the letter on the see-through sellotape. Oops. Be careful if both sellotapes stuck together. You don't want to pull it apart. As you can see, the paper has peeled away and you're left with this ink that's see-through. I'll do that again with another letter just to let everyone see it again. Just do it with the eye. So submerge the full thing into the water. Make sure the paper gets wet. And then with your fingertip, not too hard, start to peel away the paper. And then you're left with the ink on a see-through surface. You can do this with any photographs you might find in a newspaper, any pictures, or if you've got a printer at home, if you're lucky enough to have one, you can print off your own pictures and then use this technique. So you've got like a little window effect. And then what I like to do is use this in my collages or my other art. Maybe I'll do a painting and then I can stick these over the top. It can create quite a nice effect. Or you can stick these on your window, something like that. You can make some words or your name. You can stick them to your window and the sun can shine through. It'll make quite a nice effect. Now I'm going to run through a collage activity for everyone. I'm going to use this old magazine. If you've got an old magazine or newspaper at home, that will work quite nice. So the first task for the collage would be to find 3 words in your magazine or newspaper, 3 words that remind you of your experience in lockdown. For example, I've just found a word, giving, that I quite like, because I feel during lockdown, everyone has been kind to each other and helped each other. I've found 2 other words that I like that can relate to lockdown, power and future. I like transformative as well. For the next activity, I'd like everyone to look through the magazine or newspaper, even if you've got any old photographs lying around, anything like that. And I want you to pick out 5 images that represent something you're looking forward to in the future. For example, I love going out into nature, and I can't wait to do that with my friends once lockdown's over. So I'm going to look through the magazine and pick out some images that represent this. So for example, let's have a look. I can see some people here that are all together, and there's a blue sky. So this reminds me of what I could be like with my friends in the future. So I'm looking to see if there are any plants or leaves or anything like that that can use. If you're struggling to find something, you can always cut out any block colours that you find and then make some shapes out of this. So I'll make a plant shape. As I was saying, I can't wait to get back in nature. Then you can use the sellotape, you can use some glue. And then experiment with everything that you've cut out and try and make an arrangement with it. There's no right or wrong. But we can use this to make a little poster for after lockdown's finished. Stay positive, and it's all the things that you're looking forward to doing. Just making sure this is dry. Don't think it's completely dry yet, but I can still show you what to do next. Going to rip the paper off. Probably leave a little bit longer so it can dry. And then we want to get the tissue and dip it in the water. You can use this to take the layer of paper off. And then that creates a nice effect. Can you see the face underneath? If you leave it a bit longer to dry, it'll come out a bit more clear than this. But yeah, it's still quite a nice effect. And that's another way to print, and you can use that in your collages as well. So thanks everyone for watching, and if you make some of these collages at home, please send them in to FireFit. We'd really like to see them. Hope everyone's staying safe. Thank you. See you next time.